Welcome back to Dynasty Savvy. Today we got a super exciting video. Those 2026 rookie drafts are wrapping up. Now it is time to look forward into 2027, the class that everyone wants a piece of. Let's see what players we're actually going to be looking at drafting next year and their strengths and weaknesses. We're going to be doing a rookie mock draft of the top 12 players.
Of course, a lot will change between now and when we're actually on the clock in our 2027 rookie drafts. But this exercise is not only for fun, but more importantly, just to introduce everyone to these prospects, their strengths and weaknesses, and what you can expect, what these picks will actually look like when the time comes.
So if you like content like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Dan, you are now up at the 101. We already have Jeremiah Smith up on the screen. Talk a little bit about Jeremiah Smith, the man that everyone desires. I mean, people are going to probably ruin their teams to get Jeremiah Smith.
All right. Yeah, no surprise here. At the 101, I'm going to take Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver for Ohio State. There's not much that needs to be said about him. I mean, he produced a ridiculous 3.3 yards per route run in his first two college seasons, which also included over 2,500 receiving yards, 29 total touchdowns. I mean, this guy is just absurd. He's everything you want in a receiver. He's pretty much like the final boss of college wide receiver prospects. What more do you need to say about him? He's going to be the consensus 101.
Yeah, I mean, everyone watching this video should already, I mean, if they're watching a 2027, fast forward look, you probably know who Jeremiah Smith is, I hope. And I just want to add, two things. If he tears his ACL, I still think he's the undisputed, 101. What was he has to turn into like Lieutenant Dan to not be the 101 next year. The second thing is with where this hype is going, Dan, I think if he gets even just a decent, just non-Jets landing spot, I mean, really, he could be pushing for the 101 in startups. It's kind of unbelievable to think that a rookie could do that. But if you're just looking at the landscape right now, there isn't really a true 101 in my opinion. I've never really seen anything like this. So I really think he could just, right or wrong, swoop in and potentially be that or very close to it.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see what kind of 2026 season he has. But if he takes it up another level, that is absolutely in the range of outcomes. And at the very least, he might be the wide receiver one in Dynasty right out of the gate.
Yeah, no, exactly. So let's move on to the 102 there. All right, Dan, at the 102, I am going to take Arch Manning, quarterback for Texas. I'll be honest, I don't feel amazing about this pick at the moment, but I do need to still pencil him. Honestly, a lot of that is just with the Manning name. A lot of people have very, very high hopes for him. I do really like that he has a ton of rushing upside. Dan, I was at the Citrus Bowl where he played Michigan, and yeah, I mean, he broke off, over 150 rushing yards, some big, big plays with his legs. That is awesome to see. I love seeing that in a rookie quarterback that I'm going to draft for Dynasty. However, he does need to develop big time as a passer, especially in that game specifically. It was like, is he throwing a screen to the left? Is he throwing a screen to the right, or is he running it? It was pretty bad. He is going to get a lot of help. He's going to get a lot of help from receiving weapons, especially one that we're about to talk about soon here. That should be a big, big addition for him. But yeah, the question really for Arch, for me, if he wants to live up to this 102 that I have him penciled in for, can he develop as a passer? Because he will need to.
Yeah, I think the 2026 season is going to be huge for him. And I think we could be feeling a lot more confident about taking Arch Manning a year from now than we feel right now. So it is a bit of projection here, but he has the Manning name. He has the rushing upside. Hopefully the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, Dan, let's move on to 103. Who do you got?
All right. Up at the 103, I'm going to take Ahmad Hardy, running back for Missouri. I'm really excited about this player. Unfortunately, he did recently get shot at a concert. He was shot in the upper thigh. So we don't have too much information about how his recovery is going. We're just going to assume the best here. Hopefully his recovery goes well. Obviously, it'll be something to monitor. But this guy is just ridiculous. I mean, he has 190 missed tackles forced over his first two college seasons. Just unbelievably productive. Over 1,300 rushing yards in his first college season, over 1,600 in 2025. He averaged 4.6 yards after contact per attempt during his 2025 season, which is just absolutely elite. I mean, this guy, he just looks special to me. He has that combination of not only does he have the long speed, but he also has just absolute ridiculous acceleration. So, I mean, it is just a deadly combo. He's a playmaker. He's a touchdown waiting to happen. I love this guy. Hopefully everything is okay with the injury, because I'm really excited about this player. And for a player this fast, like he's not some small scat back or whatever. He's 5'10", 206, so he should be built well for the NFL. I'm really excited about him.
Yeah, no, I knew you would like him for sure because like he definitely is right now the real life RB1. I mean, he is an absolute monster. There's literally no question about that. It honestly is like highlights and stuff are like pretty ridiculous. He just runs so hard. I will say right now for me, and we'll get into those other running backs. Right now he's probably, I don't know, RB2 or RB3 for fantasy for me. I mean, just 14 receptions in college so far. That's a big concern, right? I mean, especially in a class with as much hype as this. One, I don't know if I want to be like taking a running back that's like not catching any passes. I mean, that just caps you so much. Maybe you can add that to his game. I do think draft capital will tell us a lot about how a team, views that because we think about all these top running backs, Bijan, Genti, all these guys. They all have awesome pass catching ability. You don't really see like a non-pass catching running back, just like a ground and pound guy, going really high in the draft. So I mean, if you could pull something off like that, I would probably worry about that much less. But yeah, Ahmad Hardy, like he's an absolute freak. It's no question about that. Hopefully he's okay from that gunshot wound, of course.
Yeah, and the lack of receiving is probably the war tennis profile. Yeah, and I don't watch a ton of college football, so I don't know to what degree that's a product of his offense, or is that something he's capable of? I'll have to dig into that a bit more. But we have seen some examples of players that weren't used a lot in the receiving game in college, but went on to do that in the NFL. I mean, even Ashton Genty, I don't think did a ton of that in college. Kenneth Walker comes to mind as well. But yeah, I mean, if that's the one flaw in his game, he has a lot of other very appealing traits to make up for it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's an absolute monster. We'll get into those other running backs in a moment. Let's move on to 104 though. It is not a running back, Dan. For my 104, Dan, I'm going to be going with Cam Coleman, wide receiver for Texas, paired up with Arch, who I was just talking about. I guess I'm all in on the Longhorns this season. Honestly, Cam Coleman, he's just got star receiver written all over him. Explosive playmaker. He's projected to go top 10 overall in 2027. And he'll have a great chance to, improve to his profile. I would like to see a little bit more production from him. I think he's been hindered a little bit on that Auburn offense. Coming into Texas now, though, I really think he should be able to explode for production. Honestly, yeah, I really think, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the 102 next year behind Jeremiah Smith. I just don't want to project that yet. Again, there's some more things we need to see from him, but I do think he's just like a classic. Kind of, I don't know, reminds me of like Malik Neighbors for some reason. That's just the name that comes to mind. I don't really know that they have that much in common, but I could just totally see this being kind of like the Marv Neighbors thing, where you get like two really awesome receivers up at the top of the class. Dan, what do you think about Cam Coleman?
I like him. I definitely agree that he just looks like an NFL wide receiver. One thing I noticed watching him is that he fights through contact really well, sometimes even illegal contact, and still makes the catch. He had some awesome one-handed catches. So yeah, he was very impressive. I was mad when we were kind of doing this mock draft before the video and making our selections. I was mad you sniped me on him. So yeah, I really like Cam Coleman.
Yeah, no, Zach, I was super excited to get him at 104 again. Right now, if we were doing drafts right now, yeah, get him at 104. I feel like I would like legitimately consider him at 102 over Arch again because there is a lot of projection as well for Arch, and I do think there's a lot of there's a lot of quarterbacks in this class. So yeah, not gonna be surprised if this is too low on Cam Coleman. And then like I mentioned, yeah, I do want to see some more things from him. But man, just reminds me he's just got the build of a star receiver, like seriously. So
and I think one thing that'll be fascinating is to see how much Cam Coleman and Arch Manning help each other and help their draft stocks and their profiles. So it could be a very mutually beneficial situation there for them.
yeah, absolutely. So keep an eye out for him next year. Gonna be a really fun player to watch. I can just see this being like one of those massive my guys for just like the dynasty community. Dan, who do you have at the 105 though now?
All right. At the 105, I'm going to take Jaden Baugh, running back for Florida. This is a pretty big running back, 6'1", 231 pounds. But he's not just some bruiser, grinder, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I'm really excited about this guy. He's got great change of direction and stop start ability. That I was really impressed with that when I watched him. He's got a sick jump cut, really nice spin move. I was just doing a lot of like, ooh, like when watching him. Like I was just like really impressed. He reminds me a lot of Bijan Robinson, and I even saw some Shady McCoy in him. And of course, he's got all the toughness and physicality of a runner that you would expect from a player his size. Very productive in 2025, nearly 1,200 rushing yards. He forced 65 missed tackles. Also had 3.5 yards after contact per attempt, which is a really good number. And he has a good receiving profile. In 2025, he had 40 targets, 33 catches, over 200 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. So you absolutely love to see that for fantasy, for Dynasty. So I'm really excited about this player. He just seems like he can do it all. He checks all the boxes. And it just seems like he's built for the NFL and to be a workhorse Dynasty stud running back.
Yeah, I would say even more than the NFL. I'd say he's built for fantasy football. I
Oh, yeah.
mean, yeah, I think it's like not even a question. He's like the best, at least like star receiving back in college. Like that is a huge strength for him. That's why he's my like clear RB1 right now. I mean, it is, and he can do everything else beyond that. Again, I was saying earlier that Hardy is like definitely just like a better pure running back. It looks like on the tape, but with the receiving upside a Jaden Baugh has, I mean, this dude could be. I mean, like literally, I could see like legendary running back upside on a profile like this. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he can just keep adding to his profile. It would be crazy if he could ever we get confidence of like the Amari and Hampton plus kind of range for him. That would be huge for this draft class. And at that point, like 105 would be like way too low. Of course, like 102, like maybe 103 would be too low for him. So very excited about Baugh.
Yeah, and I think just what really stands out about him is you just don't expect this level of agility from a player of his size. So I'm really excited about him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, really passed the eye test with flying colors for me as well. So, all right, at 106, I am going to take the bait, Dan. You left Dante Moore here. Again, I don't know that I'm like thrilled about this one. Definitely is an awesome prospect. We wish he came out of this previous class. It really needed him. But look, he's great at throwing across the middle and intermediate. Really translates well for previous prospects. That makes me think of like Jaden Daniels. That was a big time strength of his, and why I had like really high expectations for him actually as a passer coming out of college. Obviously, he does not have the rushing ability of a Jaden Daniels. I mean, he has some rushing ability. It is not elite by any means. Does have some good pocket presence though. Also, is this again like a young quarterback? I really think that he's someone that could, I guess, benefit from going back. He already probably would have been the 102 in real life. So I don't know. Maybe he has like more to like actually technically lose than gain. But of course, like he can make his profile much better. Again, the rushing ability is like I'm a little worried he's going to be kind of like a CJ Stroudy kind of prospect. Not my favorite in terms of drafting as a rookie. And there's a lot of other good quarterbacks. We will definitely at least mention one or two more of them in this video. But yeah, I do think he's the second best one behind Arch right now. I wouldn't be shocked if I would say he's better than Arch right now easily. Again, he just doesn't have the rushing upside like Arch has. But Dan, what do you think about Dante Moore?
I like Dante Moore a good bit. I almost took him earlier, ended up making a change. But yeah, I like what I see from him. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be some kind of quarterback scout, but from what I saw watching him, it seems like he can make all the throws. He can put touch on the ball. He can throw the bullet. And it seemed like he's good at putting the ball right where it needs to go for the receiver to catch it. I also like that he has a good ability to move away from pressure, throw it on the run. I've heard him compared to CJ Stroud, but I kind of saw more Russell Wilson personally. So yeah, I liked what I saw from him.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I think right now, 106 Dante Moore. Where do you think he would have went in 2026 with his previous draft class?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, maybe behind Mendoza somewhere. I mean, probably I don't know, middle of the first round, maybe closer to the early part of it. I hadn't really thought about that too much. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Blake?
Yeah, I do think it's just like an interesting question to bring up because like honestly, I think he'd kind of be going 106 in this previous class, which is kind of funny because it's like he's the 106 in our mock right now. I don't know. Again, one of those could be just like wrong. Like maybe we should be drafting him much earlier this year if he had came out, or maybe he should be going lower in this draft. I don't know. But again, I do think he's a really solid prospect, and yeah, I can definitely see like the Russell Wilson stuff with you as well. I just think he like I don't know. Visibly, he looks like Jaden Daniels. I don't know if you see that as well. Like just when he's like standing. I don't know.
Okay.
So, so like Jaden Daniels always comes to mind with him. But yeah, I'm excited to see some more out of him. Obviously, had that great college playoff run there.
Yeah, and I think depending on what he does in 2026, I mean, he could have an opportunity here to improve his stock. So, we might be even more excited about him a year from now.
Yeah, it would be hilarious if he were to land with a team like the Jets, which apparently he didn't want to land with this
Right.
past year. How funny would that be if he
Yeah,
were
well,
this
hey,
way?
he's just looking after his own dynasty value. He didn't want to get stuck there,
Yeah,
so we should thank him for that. So yeah, hopefully he has a great season and ends up in a better situation than the Jets, and then we can really be excited about him.
absolutely.
All right, at the 107, I am going to take Ryan Williams, wide receiver for Alabama. I am really excited about this player. This guy was just a force of nature in the 2024 season. I mean, he's just out there like clowning dudes as a true freshman, 17 years old. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't think I've ever laughed so much watching a player just because he's just making defenders look silly out there. I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, this guy has elite agility, elite acceleration from what I've seen. Also, incredible field awareness. I swear this guy has like eyes in the back of his head. Um, the game he had against Georgia was crazy. He made so many unbelievable plays in that game. There was a bobbling catch. There was another play where he's like faking out this defender, but he has his like back turned to him. I don't know like how he even like knows like where the defender is, but I swear he can like see in like 360 degrees around him. But yeah, his 2024 season was just unbelievable. He put up 865 receiving yards, again, as a true freshman, 8 receiving touchdowns, even added 2 rushing scores. So, I mean, he was on a unbelievable trajectory after that season. His 2025 season was a bit disappointing, as most people know. He regressed, only had 689 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I personally have a lot of faith in what I saw in his 2024 season as that 17-year-old true freshman. I mean, once you see what he did during that season, you just cannot unsee it. So I'm a believer. I've seen what this guy is capable of. I have faith that he's going to bounce back in a huge way. Reminds me a lot of Devonta Smith too. So I
Yeah.
am just very, very excited about Ryan Williams.
Yeah, exactly. It's that jersey, it's that just his build, kind of a slender
Mhm.
receiver. Yeah, obviously last year going into the season, it was basically him and Jeremiah Smith, and of course Arch Manning as the top 3 guys. I mean, it was kind of like a little bit of conversation. Who's better, Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith? Obviously, Jeremiah Smith has now taken the cake there by a mile. But yeah, I am pretty interested with what happens this final year here with Ryan Williams. Um, do we see that 2024 version of him? Do we see the 2025 somewhere in between? I do think it's a pretty good ranking for him right now. Again, I could see him moving up. Again, there's just such solid prospects though. I'm like kind of having a hard like he really needs to get back to that 2024 version to start jumping up here. Yeah, unless he wants to like jump Dante Moore or something like that. Because we even have a guy here in behind him that I would personally take over him right now. If we were drafting today, um, we could probably just move on to him now because I'd actually really like to talk about this guy. Maybe like the arguably the one that I would expect us to talk most about, Dan.
Yeah, I definitely hear your concerns. And he also did struggle with drops a little bit. So he definitely has to get that cleaned up. I'm sure he's hard at work fixing that, fixing whatever went wrong for him in 2025. And the one thing I'll say to end this is just pull up his 2024 season highlights. I mean, I was just absolutely floored. And specifically, watch those plays against Georgia. I mean, he just looked superhuman in that game. Yeah, I mean, he leaves quite the impression on you when you see what he's capable of there.
All right, at the 108, Dan, I am going to pick K1 Lacey, running back for Ole Miss. It feels like just a phenomenal value. This guy's production was out of this world. Absolute workhorse. Knows for the end zone. Even has a really good receiving profile. I don't know that he's the best receiver. I actually don't think that's like a very strong part of his game, but was racked up 29 catches last year. And he made everything look so easy. Way too easy. It was really odd. I mean, just like literally like he wasn't even trying. Often disregarded like the first tackler. That's just something a lot of elite running backs I've noticed are just really good at doing. But he didn't look flashy. It was really weird. He just, maybe it's because he was making it look so easy. Not a flashy running back at all. Honestly, kind of like looked like he was like slow motion a lot of the time. Just like really patient. I don't know. Maybe he's just really got good vision. Just making like no wasted movements is maybe a good way to put it. Was just able to get from like point A to point B with ease, like without a doubt. Did look like he lacked top end speed because he would break so many runs and like often get caught or just very close to being caught, even with a pretty big gap. So, I mean, again, it would be nice to have some top end speed there, but if he's getting caught a lot because he's breaking so many runs, I don't know. That's I guess a good thing. Like I'm not too worried as long as he's getting down the field. One thing I do know is that they had a really good O-line. They obviously made the college football playoffs, a run there. So like, is he a system running back to a degree? With the scheme. I think he is really good as a running back prospect. Like I think this could be easily too low for him. But I do think there is a question. Like, is it more that he is just this undoubtable star running back prospect, or is he a bit of the system product? Dan, what do you think about K1 Lacey?
Yeah, I'm going to say the latter. You said it, yeah, that it looked like it was easy for him. Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like his offensive line was playing well and opening up some big holes for him because he really doesn't look that impressive just to the eye. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm an NFL scout here or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned like sometimes he looks like he's in slow motion. Like, yes, I completely agree. Like he does look like kind of painfully slow at times. So I don't know if that's just like really good patience. I do think that he does some things well. And the things that he does well, I feel like aren't like really flashy. He can make defenders miss and kind of like a subtle, like unflashy way that's kind of hard to put a finger on. But inevitably, he just finds himself, making big plays and everything. And it's kind of like, how is he doing it? I mean, I think it's sort of a combination of that and his good offensive line play. But he's definitely not a player that blows me away by any means. And I would definitely be concerned once he gets into the NFL and if he gets put into a situation where it's not the greatest offense, it's not the best offensive line. I could definitely see a player like him really struggling and just kind of like the bottom really falling out and maybe he just like ends up being a complete bust. So I don't know. Like it'll be really interesting to see what the NFL thinks about him. I'm definitely like not overly impressed with him, but like, hey, like I could be wrong. It's not, it's not like my eye test is everything, So, definitely had to give him some credit for the awesome production and for the things that he does do well. But yeah, definitely not a flashy running back that jumps out at you when you watch him.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say, I'm trying to think of like a comp for him. I really don't know if I have a comp. One thing I will say, and this just goes to like maybe him being like the star running. I don't know. I just saw some kind of like patience and just that fluidity of just like no wasted movement. Just I don't know. Kind of reminded me of like maybe some Le'Veon Bell-esque stuff, even though he's like not at all the same kind of running back. But Le'Veon Bell was not some home run hit like speed guy, but he would hit those home runs with just his ability, his patience. So I don't know. It's not a good comp, but I just think that like maybe on the eye test, like that might be kind of like what you're overlooking potentially, is that he's just kind of like one of those natural runners. And everything he does well, maybe he just doesn't look good on tape. That's what I kind of suspected watching him, but I am interested to see is that the case, or again, are your concerns more so going to be what we see out of him? Because I wish I had a little more confidence in him as a receiving back. If I did, he would be like undoubted RB1 or 2 for me. If I had more confidence in that receiving game for him.
Yeah, the comp that I've heard for him is Darren McFadden because like they're both kind of like high waisted and
Yeah.
have like these long legs. And I think that's like part of like what makes them look kind of like slow and awkward out there. Two comps that I thought of, one was Ramondre Stevenson. Another, and this is going to sound like the grossest comp ever, but hey, maybe it's fitting since I don't really like him that much. I don't know why, but Pierre Strong came to mind. I just remember like watching Pierre Strong when he was coming out. That's kind of what he reminded me of a little bit. So like I don't know, like I know that's super gross, but hey, I'm not really a fan, so I guess I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I'm not a big believer. I would take this next player over him pretty easily. Also a running back. So yeah, maybe we should just get into my 109 here.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, at the 109, I'm going to take Isaac Brown, running back for Louisville. This is another player I'm really excited about. I mean, this guy just has unreal speed. He is absolutely a touchdown waiting to happen when you watch him. He's got good stop-start ability, but he really only uses it when he needs to. I think what really impressed me about him is that he doesn't dance around unnecessarily. He's really good at just finding the hole, hitting it, and then turning on the jets, and then he's pretty much gone. The comps for him, you can't help but see a lot of Devon Achane in him. I've also heard him compared to Chris Johnson, which I can definitely see as well. That's definitely a fun comp. He is a smaller running back. He's 5'9", 190 pounds. That's a bit of a concern, but he really doesn't look that small when you watch him. For whatever that's worth, I mean, I can definitely imagine him in the NFL. I think he's going to be a hit. I mean, I feel like he is the next Devon Achane. So my God, I mean, if you can get him here at the 109 in your 2027 rookie draft, that sounds pretty awesome to me. He's very productive, especially in 2024, had nearly 1,200 rushing yards, 11 rushing scores, even a decent receiving profile that year, 30 catches, 152 receiving yards, add another touchdown through the air there. His 2025 wasn't quite as good. I mean, at least in terms of like the counting numbers, but his efficiency was still off the charts. He averaged, in 2024, he averaged 7.1 yards per carry. Then in 2025, took it up to 8.8 yards per carry. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous efficiency. And yeah, the metrics are really good as well. In that 2025 season, he forced 39 missed tackles on just 101 rushing attempts. I mean, that's absurd. So that's nearly zero point 0.4 missed tackles forced per attempt, which is just an absolute absurd number. He averaged 5.3 yards after contact per attempt in that season. That is absurd as well. So this guy's just ridiculous. I think he's going to be a hit in the NFL. I'd be doing cartwheels if I get him at the 109 in the rookie draft.
Yeah, I definitely share your enthusiasm on him. It's just hard not to be really excited looking at this profile right now on Isaac Brown. Yeah, the first thing that I thought was like, this is Devon Achane all over again. The size, the speed. Again, like I know he only had like 13 catches this last year. A really weak like receiving, but like you go to in 2024 and yeah, it made sense. Like he had the strong receiving numbers because he just looks like a natural receiver, similar to Achane. So yeah, really excited about Isaac Brown. If he's like the 109 next year and he gets solid draft capital, my God, like I'll be trying to rack up some 109s or whatever, trading back or up, whatever I gotta do. I could see him being a total like my guy for the community as well. Like him and Cam Coleman really stand out as guys that I don't know. Just I can see like Twitter going nuts about all day long. So I don't know if there's like too much more to add to Isaac Brown. Really, really exciting running back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Dan, at the 110, I am going to go with Bryant Wesco, wide receiver for Clemson. I'll be honest, this is a really tough pick. A lot of players here that I was thinking of. I kind of just did a tie break with him, again, because the quarterbacks we'll get into, especially one here in a moment, but I was having a tough time picking for them. I did think Bryant Wesco was my next, receiver I was most excited about. So I kind of just broke my tie that way. He's fast, great off line of scrimmage, awesome catch radius and size. Did have an injury concern with his spine at the end of the last season. We'll see if that hinders him at all going into next year. Hopefully not. Were some drop issues that need to be cleaned up, and wasn't great in tight coverage. Those kind of concerns do remind me of some roster clogger types, Dan, that we've seen at the end of firsts in previous years. I definitely don't want to make some bold claim and say he's gonna be some roster clogger receiver or anything, but just something I noticed off him, off pure vibes. So, Dan, what do you think of Wesco?
I like him. There is another receiver that I would take over him, but he looked pretty solid to me. It kind of reminded me of Jamison Williams a bit, certainly with the speed. And he did help produce the highest quarterback rating of 151 when targeted in this entire rookie class, at least for the 2025 season. So basically, really good things happened when he was throwing the ball last season. So that's certainly encouraging. I'm not sure exactly why his counting stats weren't quite as good in 2025 as they were in 2024. Neither season was like crazy productive. 24 was the better season in terms of the counting stats. He had over 700 receiving yards, regressed a bit in 2025. So I think 2026 season will definitely be huge for him. If he puts up some massive season where it all kind of comes together and he puts up well over 1,000 receiving yards and scores a bunch of touchdowns and looks awesome doing it, that could go a really long way toward solidifying his draft stock and just his overall prospect profile.
Yeah, no, absolutely agreed. I think I just covers Wesco. I mean, exciting receiver, and yeah, I think there's a lot of similar kind of guys here. We'll get into your next one here of who you had over him.
Yeah. All right. At the 111, I am going to take Nick Marsh, wide receiver, formerly of Michigan State. Now he's transferring to Indiana. This guy just looks like a professional NFL wide receiver already. And by that, I mean he looks like a complete wide receiver. I loved everything I saw watching him. He's great after the catch. He's got really good contact balance. There was this one contested jump catch that he made against Oregon. And by the time he, landed from this jump catch, he was already like turned around and like running toward the end zone, without even so much as a stumble. It was really impressive. There was this other play against Iowa where, he just did like so many things well. He ran this really crafty route. He caught the ball, immediately made a defender miss, and then dragged like two defenders like multiple yards for the first down. There are just like countless plays where I was just really impressed with his game. Yeah, and when watching him, I also noticed that he has really good ball tracking, especially on the deep passes. I also really liked what I saw from his route running. He can make these quick, sharp cuts in his routes. He can also make more of the smoother, kind of more deceptive breaks in his routes. So he seems like very versatile as a route runner. Also seems to have like really great awareness, making a sideline catches. Wait, I'm sorry, I'll restate that. He also seems to have really good awareness. I saw some good sideline catches where he knew right where he was, getting the feet in. Plays with just a lot of confidence, a lot of professionalism. I was really, really impressed with him the more I watched him. My comp for him, I kind of feel like he's a taller Omar Cooper. He's got about 3 inches on Omar Cooper. So, Marsh stands at 6'3", 203 pounds. I just liked everything I saw about him. I think his game is complete. He hasn't been like crazy productive in his first 2 years at Michigan State, but from what I understand, that hasn't been like the greatest situation for wide receivers to produce. So I'm really excited about what he's going to do transferring to Indiana. And they have another good receiver there, even though they lost a couple to the NFL draft. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do at Indiana and hopefully a better situation, better opportunity, and also just the growth that he'll probably make going into his 3rd season. But he already looks very polished to me, so I'm really excited about this guy.
Yeah, I think you covered him really well. Like, I mean, honestly, I think if you don't have people excited at home, I don't know, maybe they had it like on mute the entire time. Honestly, like I think I would just refund my pick right now. Like I think I'll put Marshall at 110. Like actually though, I'm not even joking. Like as you were saying stuff just about him, it was kind of just flashing back in my mind. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like, I think it's a good point. Like, it can be kind of tough to rank these guys going through, but like, honestly, when like comparing Marsh and Wesco, like, yeah, I think I am on like Marsh and Wesco. So we'll leave it
Go.
as is for now. But I think it was like helpful to go through Marsh, and it's so funny that you said Omar Cooper. It's got to be that Indiana jersey that I'm looking at right now on the screen. But I was thinking the same thing. Like when I'm watching him, I have no idea what his comps like actually are. I don't know, like maybe like I don't want to say it, but like there was something with AJ Brownie about him,
Yeah,
though, like
totally,
because he's
totally.
bigger like Omar Cooper. There was definitely something AJ Brownie off that line of scrimmage, in a size. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about Marsh. I think you just really helped. I don't know, make me realize that as we were talking about him there. So
Hey,
um,
I love it. I mean, I was kind of doing my impression
yeah.
of a NFL scout there, which I'm definitely not, but I don't know. There was just something about watching Marsh that just kind of inspired kind of a further breakdown of his game because I was really impressed by everything I saw, and he really just seems to have a very complete game as a wide receiver.
Yeah, I do really like that, and I think that's what really has helped sell me here. So, yeah, I guess enough about Marsh. Let's move on to our final 112 player here. All right, Dan. My 112 is Julian Sayin, quarterback for Ohio State. I will admit this was a really tough pick. A lot of really good players still left on the board. Yeah, looking in this class, definitely living up to the hype just as far as pre-draft goes. Looking at year ahead here, there are some other nice quarterbacks. Maybe we'll make a second round mock as well. We can mention them, but I did break the tie here. Honestly, probably off the draft capital. Just he was a Heisman finalist, 77% completion rate, highly accurate. Do have some rushing concerns. I was hoping for him to be, I guess, maybe a better athlete, more willing to actually scramble. Definitely going to be a bit of a concern when you're drafting him. Like if you're especially if you're taking at 112, you're not going to get maybe that Bo Nix ability. That's kind of what I was hoping for. Maybe to have some rushing ability similar to to that. But yeah, I mean, very little turnover plays, takes care of the football. Even taking a lot of shots downfield, I noticed. One thing that I did notice though is like he's kind of like an on-time quarterback. Um, I suppose like in the NFL that's very important, but you also need to excel beyond structure. That's been something that's been pretty important for quarterbacks as of late, and not as much as you would hope off script. So again, maybe with another year of starting, we could see more of that for him. Um, but yeah, great year for him. So I think he's a really solid 112. I just wish I was like more confident about it because again, a lot of good players to pick from. Would he have been your 112, Dan?
Probably. I mean, a few honorable mentions here. Charlie Becker, receiver for Indiana, had an absurd yards per route run in 2025. I think he's very interesting. In fact, it'll be interesting to see between him and Marsh, like who truly emerges as the wide receiver one for Indiana. But yeah, with Sayan, I like what I saw from him. I mean, yeah, absolutely. The accuracy looked really awesome. And his arm strength. I mean, yeah, he was absolutely launching it downfield. I mean, there was one like just absolute rainbow that he launched way down the field to Carnell Tate, just like dropped it right in the bucket for him, like hit him in stride for a touchdown. I mean, that's one of those throws you see, and it's just like, okay, like that's an NFL throw right there. Like that's gonna work. So I do think he's a guy that definitely has like all the talent to like make all the throws. Maybe if there was a concern about him, it's just that he has such good wide receivers to throw to in college. So like could he be a product of that to some degree, or maybe at least made to look a little better than he is? When you're throwing to Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, so and others as well. Of course, he loses Tate this year. He still has Jeremiah Smith, and I'm sure the Ohio State will have a bunch of other receivers that are, great players that are ready to step up there. So he'll still probably have like really good receivers to throw to. So maybe we won't fully see that until he goes in the NFL. And I mean, hopefully he doesn't land in a bad situation. But if he does, I guess we'll kind of find out to what degree he's relying on that. But from what I saw, the accuracy, the arm strength, I think he has the tools to succeed in the NFL. And I mean, to get a quarterback like this, late first round, I do think that's pretty solid value.
Yeah, exactly. If you really can get him, if he's a first round pick in the NFL draft as projected right now, that would be phenomenal value. So yeah, definitely takeaway is right now looking ahead, this class is really strong at basically every position right now. Projecting, there was even some tight ends that could have slipped in here. Could be some very exciting early second picks if that's how it really played out. I think one thing to note though, before we sign off for this video, is do we know that all of these players are actually going to declare for the draft? I'm starting especially looking at all these players, I'm like this is a little too good to be true. For some reason when I was talking about Wesco, I was totally thinking I don't know, this could be a guy that just goes back to college. Especially we were already looking at how many damn receivers could potentially be ahead of him. Yeah, I am pretty worried about just how many receivers, or sorry, just players in general. Especially there's so many quarterbacks, that's great. Hopefully a lot of them succeed and actually declare. But if you're a quarterback, especially if you're young and making a bunch of money in college, and you're not going to be a top pick, and you think you can be, just kind of like Dante Moore this past year. I mean, he was already a top pick, and he just went back anyways. So I do wonder how everything will play out. But with that being said, maybe people come out of nowhere, right? And kind of make up for that. So will be a very interesting dynamic. I feel like this is the first year we'll truly get to see how NIL might play a part, especially when you get a really strong class, because I just don't think we've seen that yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the NIL thing has definitely had a huge impact. I mean, thankfully, at least some of the players that we were hoping came out in 2026 will, end up coming out in 2027. So hopefully that helps make up for it a little bit. Helps make up for the fact of some of these players that were hoping come out in 27 end up coming out in 28. So yeah, that's a bit unpredictable. We'll just have to see how things go. But yeah, to your point, I definitely think there'll be some players that kind of come out of nowhere, take us by surprise this season that maybe aren't even fully on our radar yet. So I think one way or another, this is definitely going to shape up to be an awesome class. I'm excited to see how these players perform in college this upcoming season. But yeah, one way or another, this is most likely going to be a loaded class. It's looking great right now. I am really, really excited about a lot of these players. If you couldn't already tell by the way I was talking about all my selections in here. So yeah, I mean, of course, we don't want to take things too far and get any crazier. I mean, I don't know how much more hype this 27 class can get, but it is justified to a large degree. And I'm definitely happy about all the 27 picks that I've already stocked up on. And hell, I definitely won't mind getting a few more if I can, as long as I'm not overpaying.
Exactly. I saw one with one of my leagues with 427 verse while I'm contending. I'm like, this is going to be tough because I'm not going to want to spend those
Oh, yeah.
In season. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting because I think selling, here's my prediction for next offseason. It's going to be tough because there's going to be a lot of players I like, but I can really see myself not actually making a ton of picks as I would expect, because when the class is so strong, you're just going to get absurd. It really reminds me of 2024.
Yeah.
I barely made any picks in 2024. I had a lot of early picks. I picked, I think, Jaden Daniels twice and no one else in the top 4 because, I mean, I was getting Justin Jefferson level prices for all those top picks. So,
Yeah.
I think that will be something tough to balance, but I don't know, for just the way I like to play, if someone wants to pay prices these guys are already studs, I'll have probably no problem doing so. So that should be fun. Thinking about next year. Gotta get some more 27 picks, so I got those options.
Yeah, and in your more competitive leagues, you already know that the prices on these 27 firsts have gotten pretty absurd. But in your more casual leagues, I mean, you might be surprised that these picks can still be attainable. I mean, I actually just acquired a 27 first. Not even sure exactly where it's projected, but even if it's projected late, basically got it for Kyle Pitts, and it's in a start 9 league, 0.5 tight end premium. I mean, I couldn't believe it got accepted. So you never know unless you try. So don't just assume the window's closed. These 27 picks are impossible to get. I mean, still make the effort, and see if you can acquire them at a reasonable price. You just never know.
Yeah, I'd say kind of rule of thumb going next year or just from now on is like it doesn't really matter if it's a late projected one because again, will it
Yeah,
actually be late is a whole other question.
yeah,
But if you can just move a player right now that again maybe has respect in the dynasty market, but you just don't think he's gonna do well, get 27 first or 27 whatever. Maybe you got to add or get a little bit on top just depending on what the player is.
yeah. And I
Still
think,
might be a good idea.
yeah, absolutely. And I think a good thing to do, and I might be trying a bit of this over the next couple months or so. But something I want to try is taking like a pretty good player, someone that would have appeal in a trade, add a 27 second to them,
Mm.
and see if you can get a 27 first, like, even if it's projected late, because you just never know. I mean, any future first is technically random because it could end up anywhere. I mean, we've shared stories before. You just never know how the season's going to go, injuries, etc. And especially if the team that the first is attached to doesn't have a lot of depth,
Yeah.
sometimes that bottom can fall out really quickly with just a few injuries, a few disappointing, season performances by a few players. Things can change quickly.
Yeah, exactly. I guess just anyone. I think it's really a good idea for anyone to try. Just be careful. Like, don't give away the 201, hopefully, and get
Yeah,
the 112 back. Use your best
yeah,
judgment.
for
The
sure.
ideal thing is you're trying to get an early first and send away a late second, even if they're not particularly projected to do that right now. I do think that's a great idea though to try and get some of these picks.
Yeah, and don't forget about the 27 seconds either. I mean, if that doesn't work, then see like, okay, can you just send this player for a 27 second? And if you get lucky and that second ends up like mid or early, I mean, you could still be a damn good player there with how deep this class is. So. And yeah, I mean, kind of same thing for the thirds and fours. So yeah, get as many as you can if they're reasonable prices. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a really exciting class, and um, yeah, I mean, I'm even more excited now after making this video and talking through these prospects. So hopefully this was helpful. Definitely drop us a like if it was. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm sure we'll be putting out other videos about this 2027 class. We got a long time to talk about it, so that'll be a lot of fun. So definitely stay tuned. Join our Discord. There's a link in the description. It's absolutely free. Great place to talk Dynasty. And we will see you guys on the next video.